Morning, Covidian Brits. How's it going? Day 63 of lockdown. Now, what I'm going to concentrate on today is specifically care homes and the famous return to school. Yep, that's what I'm going to concentrate on today. Now, here's Piers. Yeah, I never thought I'd even do a video featuring Piers, but seems to be the only person holding the government to account. And Piers talking about an investigation which proves, Reuters prove, the Prime Minister's lying again. Okay, it's about 5 minutes, but I'll play you some of it, okay?
Clips here. I want to play Boris Johnson, the Prime Minister, who assured us that care homes had been locked down before the rest of us had been locked down, when in fact a Reuters investigation has now established that was a brazen lie, and that in fact care homes were the last places to be locked down. Let's watch this.
We brought the lockdown in care homes ahead of the general lockdown.
So right from the start, we've tried to throw a protective ring around our care homes. We set out our first advice in February, and as the virus grew, we strengthened it throughout. We've made sure that care homes have the resources they need to control the spread of infection.
People are only released from hospital if the clinical judgment is that it is better for them to be in a different setting. And the number of people who've been discharged from hospitals into care homes has been declining throughout this pandemic, and is also 40% less than it was this time last year.
Now, the reality is, as the Reuters investigation has established, is that all of that was a lie. Pretty much everything you've just heard was a lie. And in particular, it was a lie that there were clinical reasons given for people being released back to care homes. There weren't. In fact, there was a direct order from the top of our public health officials to clear bed space in the NHS and to send thousands of people out of hospital to care homes. And we now know, because we've seen enough stories now coming out, that people were sent back with COVID-19 and they then spread the virus amongst other residents in the care homes and people died. And your mother was one of those people. So, Sarah, for you, when you hear government ministers and the Prime Minister basically saying, hey, we did everything we could have done, what's your reaction?
We're just so angry. We feel completely let down by the system. There was never any shielding in place for those care homes. They were the bottom of the pile from the beginning of this crisis. Nobody ever put any plans in place for the care homes. And we feel not only desperately sad for the loss of our mother, but we feel so angry that this wasn't her time. You know, she should not have died. If the right shielding was in place, our mother would not have died from this virus.
Well, March the 13th, Public Health England issued guidance which said that visitors who are feeling unwell shouldn't visit care homes. So if you had symptoms, you should stay away, which makes perfect sense. But there was no ban imposed on visits. On the 23rd of March, the government issued a general lockdown. But it wasn't until April the 2nd that they issued a new advisory, according to the Reuters report, by the Department for Health and Social Care, saying visits should only be made in exceptional circumstances, such as when residents are dying. So when the Prime Minister says there was a lockdown before the rest of us, actually the truth is it came at least a week afterwards. And as a result, 22,000 people have died, more than the average in care homes.
And Ruth, the issue, of course, with your mum and the care home where she lived was that they received into the care home somebody who had this highly infectious disease. I mean, you must be beside yourself about that. If that person had been kept in hospital, things would have been different.
You're sending a deadly virus into a place where vulnerable people live together, and it's like the perfect storm of, you know, words fail me that the instructions were to the hospital that the lady who lived alongside Mum, who was diagnosed with COVID-19, was sent back to the home. I mean, and the fact that all through this, it's almost like whoever does the modelling and whoever comes up with the great plans that mean you can build a Nightingale clinic in 9 days hadn't thought about care homes. Nobody had thought about the most vulnerable people in society who live locked up together, who live in a home together. So you're essentially putting that virus into that entire home. And from a testing point of view as well, because the people who work in the care home weren't being tested, many of them were going off sick with symptoms, but that meant that you then had staff coming in from agencies who were then going to multiple care homes.
I mean, what can you say about that? Seriously, what can you say? The man lies. I know I shouldn't be surprised that Boris lies. I know nobody should be surprised that he lies. But Reuters have done that. They followed the timeline of these advices, or these advisories that were given. Yeah, they've actually followed the timeline and proven that no ring was thrown around care homes. Yeah, it was never done. And we also know that no priority was made to give those staff PPE. We know factually that because the staff often have to move from one home to another, they would have not only caught COVID, but spread it through this vulnerable population. Somebody else described it, I believe, as simply throwing in a hand grenade and just waiting for it to explode. Just let's get quite clear so far, and the death toll is still rising. There, they are talking, this woman is talking about the death of her mother, which is absolutely terrible, a great tragedy, something she has to mourn. Her mother, who died too soon, she said, before her time. That's one person, real person. You spoke to the daughter spoke. These are real people. Please remember that. The Tories want to talk about numbers. The person you've just seen on your screen, that is a real person affected by the death of her mother. And we are talking somewhere like, at the moment then, over 20,000 people killed, effectively, in care homes. People sent back to them without being tested or something as they're meant to be now. Being sent back not just to die, but to spread the infection. How? In God's name, how can your government claim, as Hancock did and as Boris still lies, to have put a shield around them right from the beginning? It is an absolute lie. You've been lied to. Now, bearing those lies in mind, I come to just what would be the second thing for today. But bearing those lies in mind, and all the other lies you've been told by this government, do you really think they're telling the truth when they say schools are being made COVID safe? I'll tell you what, there's no way that is happening. But let me tell you one other thing. The reason, obviously, they want many of these children back in schools, safe or not, as we know France, now that they have opened some schools, are having outbreaks of COVID in the schools. The only reason they want them back in schools is purely to free up their carers to get back to work. many of whom, by virtue of the fact that they are isolating and staying isolated at the moment, proves that they are not essential workers, or they wouldn't be isolating and staying in. If they were essential workers, and obviously some teachers, of course, have continued working because they are essential, yeah? But non-essential workers, yeah? Can you imagine being a parent who is being forced back, not only forced back to work, but for, your kid then forced to go to school, yeah? And what's your job? You answer the phone in a call centre, yeah? Work which actually could be done from home, because I know of several call centres I've been told about that are actually passing the kit out, shall we say, and working virtually from home. I know that, yeah? But not all call centres will do that, because not all will be able to do that, or will even trust the people to do the work from home. They'll need the overseers making sure they're taking the phone calls, although, of course, they can oversee them on a computer. Yeah. I ask you, please support the teachers. Don't send your kids back on June the 1st. You've been told so many lies by this government, yeah? They'll continue to tell you lies. You should honestly have zero trust in your government. Not 10%, 20%, 40%, 50%, maybe even higher, 60%, 70%. You should have zero trust in them. They're proven liars, and they really don't care about ordinary people. They care about making billionaires richer. And as I've said before, the now massive number of unemployed, the sick, the disabled, yeah, those who are mentally ill, those who can't work, those who legitimately have a right to state benefits, we are going to pay for what COVID has done. Not billionaires who last time were banks who were bailed out to the tune of 500 billion. They're reckoning at the moment this will have cost about 69 billion. That's not coming from the billionaires. That's not coming from the tax dodging bastards. That's coming through cuts to the benefits which we are legitimately entitled to, making it even harder to get by, just to physically live. We are paying for that. Terrible. Absolutely terrible. Please, God, back the teachers. Don't send your kids back. These people cannot be trusted. And what is still happening in care homes is further proof that not only can they not be trusted, they lie. I'm mad at this, but you got to think carefully about it, okay? Keep safe. I would suggest stay locked down, no matter what they say. Just stay locked down. They'll tell you it's safe when it's not. Take care, folks. See you again soon. Bye.